Today I have a very, very important message for you. You see, I've been around pickup, and in particular around the teaching of pickup, for over a decade. And I've seen various ways that pickup's been taught, and it makes me think a lot, what is pickup, what isn't pickup, and how should and should not pickup be taught. And let me tell you what I see nowadays in the way that pickup is taught, and I find it very, very disturbing, okay? Whenever I go to venues where there are a lot of guys doing pickup, do you know what I see? I see a lot of girls getting creeped out, angry, weirded out. When I walk up to girls, they're like, oh God, thank you for being normal. You're the first normal guy that's talked to me tonight. That's fucked up. That's really, really stupid, and it's an indictment of pickup and the way that pickup is taught, okay? So let's talk about what pickup is and what pickup isn't. Let me tell you what it isn't. It's not social terrorism. It's not offending people. It's not making life uncomfortable for people, all right? What it should be is giving a pleasant, positive experience to others, all right? That's what it should be. It should be you going in and making the people happier. If a girl is picked up by you and then somebody else comes and talks to you afterwards, she should be more friendly to them because it was a positive experience with you that made her feel better. She should not be less friendly and more antagonistic to them after the fact, all right? So again, what do I see? I see these guys bouncing around, doing mass approach, meaning burning out the entire club, approaching everybody. They go to a place and in 20 minutes they have to be like, oh shit, this place is burnt out, I have to go to another place. When I learned pickup, I went to places where there were literally 2 girls in the entire place, and I was able to game all night there because I would be social and talk to everybody, and I would talk to the girls in a way that was pleasant and made them like me. And if after talking to one girl I wanted to talk to the other one, it was good because everybody was having a good time and everybody was positive. That's what pickup should be, okay? So pickup is not just being a social terrorist, getting over your fear, and just doing whatever the fuck you want, all right? So there's this misconception in pickup that violating social norms is attractive. That is false. That is blatantly not true. Now, being confident enough to do so is attractive to a point. That is true, okay? So if you're a guy that's so meek and timid that you can't do an approach, that's unattractive. If you are so concerned that everybody's looking at you and terrified and that holds you back, that is a problem. And you should do something a little outlandish once or twice just to prove to yourself it's okay. So that's all right. But I want you to understand that's not game. That's an exercise you do to convince yourself of something. That's an exercise you do to get over a little bit of social anxiety, but that's not fundamentally game. If your game is based on the fact that I'm gonna be outrageous, and the more outrageous I am, the more I think people are gonna be attracted to me, that is absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't work, okay? It will work to convince someone you're not like, if you're rating guys 1 to 10, it'll convince them you're not like a 3 or a 4, but it's definitely never gonna convince them you're a 10. Do you know why? Because 10s don't have to do outlandish things for attention, because 10s have positive attention on them all the time. 10s have social proof. 10s have people that like them. 10s have gotten good social feedback throughout their life because they didn't go around offending people their whole life, because they actually built a social circle, they built a group of friends, and they have positive feedback, okay? So understand that while you can, to an extent, get away with more socially outlandish things in pickup than in a social circle because you're never gonna see the people again, it still doesn't make it socially calibrated or good behavior. It still offends people, it still pisses people off, and it will still get you a bad result. Proof of the pudding, ask yourself this. Very simply, is what I call idiot game, is it working for you? Have you gotten the results you want? And specifically what I mean is, have you gotten the highest caliber girls? That's number 1. Have you gotten the type of high caliber girls you actually want? Or have you just gotten kind of mediocre girls, or you do like 100 approaches, you just find the one girl who's down? If that's what you're doing, that's not game, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, do you find that like once you've been gaming in an environment, it's less and less comfortable for you and you're like, oh God, we gotta get out of here if this place is burnt out? That shouldn't be the case. It should be the case that when you've been gaming somewhere, as you're gaming, it gets more and more comfortable. You have more and more friends there, more and more social proof, and more going for you, okay? That's the hallmark of good game as opposed to bad game. So let me give a shout out real fast to a man named Ozzy. He's an RSD instructor, and he invented something called fear technology, which is fucking brilliant, okay? It's a series of exercises. I've even taught it myself, like taught some of them myself, because it is good for getting guys outside of their comfort zone. And so for guys who are very socially awkward, guys who are afraid to approach, guys who can't get through the first like 10 to 20 seconds, that can be useful. It absolutely can be useful. But even Ozzy himself would probably acknowledge that after like the first minute or so of the set, you've gotten over the fear, but then you have to keep doing other things, right? And once you're in the set and the girl's responding to you, you wouldn't see Ozzy doing outlandish things just to do outlandish things, because guess what? He actually does good game and he actually pulls and gets results, okay? So fear technology is something that's been around for a long time, and something that Ozzy did an amazing job with, and I fully endorse. And so it is important, like I said, get over your fear. It is important to, step up and push your comfort zone. What you shouldn't be doing, though, is creating social awkwardness just for the sake of it. And what you shouldn't be doing is thinking that your value comes out of being ridiculous and outlandish, okay? Being ridiculous and outlandish proves one thing and one thing only: you have no social calibration, okay? Game is what it actually is. It is a skill set, okay? It is a set of skills, techniques, understandings, ideas, and behaviors that make you more effective, okay? And more effective means this. It means that when you walk up to a girl, you have a higher percentage chance of it going well. It means that when you walk up to the hottest girls, you actually have a chance of making it work, okay? As opposed to, it doesn't mean I just have pure fear, okay? What I see a lot of guys get is they have entitlement without technique. And what happens is they get into fights with girls, they offend girls, they get thrown out of bars, they get into fights with guys, all these kind of things. They get bad, if they're in like a small social circle, they get a really bad reputation, right? That is what you want to avoid, all right? Entitlement is great, but you want to earn your entitlement. If you have an entitlement based on skill, you're great. Entitlement based on nothing, you're gonna get your comeuppance. Kind of reminds me of, have you seen those, I think it's like the Holiday Inn Express commercials where some dude's gonna do surgery on someone? He's like, are you a surgeon? He's like, no, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
You're not Dr. Stewart.
No. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Right? A lot of people seem to think that game is like that, right? It's like, well, if I just feel good about myself, I have all the skill set in the world. Fuck you, you're wrong. Here's how I know. I could have been on top of the world when I was 18, 19, 20, first learning game. My best night I ever had when I was on top of the world then pales in comparison to my worst night now. Do you know the difference? I have a skill set now. So me at my worst, most dark, feeling awful, rusty, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have a better night at my absolute worst, most out of state possible than I ever would have had at my most in state. Why? Because there is a skill to game. And actually, when I see students, I see a lot of students that can go in and get a great initial response, right? Sometimes I see students getting a better initial response than me on a particular night. However, they're not the ones at the end of the night pulling, and I am. Why? Because I actually developed a methodology and a skill set to go beyond just that, oh, I got a good initial reaction, and actually get a result. I have an understanding of game, a skill set, and everything that goes with it, okay? So I want you to understand, okay? I want you to understand a few things. Number one, yes, pushing your comfort zone is good. You should do it. However, it's not everything, okay? And if you think it is, you're gonna be hitting a wall very, very early in your game progress, and you're never gonna get beyond intermediate, okay? You absolutely will not get beyond intermediate on just, I'm not afraid, okay? That alone will not get you there. And on I'm making a scene, if that becomes your game, yes, you will attract attention to yourself, but it'll be all the wrong kind of attention. I can basically guarantee you two things. One, you're not gonna attract the highest caliber girls. And two, if you ever try and take that type of game to a social circle, which is what you actually want long-term, and then when you get older, what you want, do you wanna do cold approach when you're 65 years old? If you take that type of game to a social circle, you are fucked. You will burn that social circle to the ground like that, okay? So, what I want you to learn is the real skill set of game that can give you the best results and results for your entire life.